Alright, if you look what's in the background today in the Autobot arc, you can pretty much guess what we're talking about. Yes, there's some Insecticons there, but today we're not talking about that. We're going to be talking about the Minicons from the new TV show Transformers Robots in Disguise. Now, I haven't gotten a lot of the figures from this TV show because they just don't look like something I'm interested in. I prefer a little more detailing, a little more articulation and movement. So I have stayed away from these guys, but however, when the Minicons came out, I had to go for them because they're Minicons. Why wouldn't you want them? So this is the wave one. You have the two Decepticons that came out here, the two Autobots that came out together. You can take a few of their weapons and make this extra guy, which I've talked about in another video already. If you look up for Slipstream and Jetstorm, sorry, Saw something. Maybe it's Saw Stream and Jetstorm. Anyway. That video just came up a few days, so if you click on my channel, you'll see it. It's right there. And I also have another video of Drift, which I do like the alt mode. It's not too bad at all, along with his little Minicon that fits right next to him and that he's able to shoot out in the front. However, today we're not going to talk about any of those. Today we are going to be talking about Airazor and Fracture. Sorry, I keep forgetting these guys' names. This is the second time I've done this and I still can't remember their name. Anyway, so we're talking about Fracture, who's the big dude, and Airazor, who is the little deployer, who's the Minicon, I guess. I guess this guy deploys a Minicon. So I've already taken the packaging out, but like we know with a bunch of these, the Minicons come on this little faction symbol. So obviously he's a Decepticon, so he comes on this. There's a little port here. You can take them on and off. See, it goes right back on nice and easy. However, for time's sake, I went ahead and pulled off the rest of his little pieces that go on him, his little neat little pieces that make him who he is. So we can put this off to the side. I actually thought maybe keeping him with all the pieces on and this guy in the middle would be a neat way to display him. But like most people, once I had him out of the box, I could not help myself but go ahead and display him and play with him and see what he looks like. So anyway, that's the way it is. Let me just say this: when you look at the Airazor on the box, he's got some nice red coloring around him. Let's go ahead and take a look at him. You pop him open. There is only red coloring on the face. No red coloring anywhere else. So I don't like it when the package art looks so much better than the rest of them. It's just not, I'm just not a fan of that. So Fracture is the same way. If you look at Fracture, here he is right here. It shows a bunch of red. Shows a bunch of red like right here on his shoulder and stuff, and on his hand there. Not so much. The only red he had on him is his eyes and there. So again, this is kind of why I was not a huge fan of this series to begin with, because I just don't feel like you're getting great stuff for your money. Okay, so anyway, let's take a look at the Minicon first, and then we'll take a look at Fracture himself. So this is Razor, and Razor comes with all these little doohickeys that you can put on him. Now, what they've done nice here is each place something can go, it's a different size. So you see this is a long rectangle, this is kind of a weird obtuse shape, a smaller almost diamond on the top of his forehead. So it makes it much easier to put him together. So let's throw him together. He can hold his swords. And one thing I should mention is there is no movement on any of these guys. Once he is like this, this is his form. And if you look on the back, it's just a lot of openness. They did absolutely nothing in terms of sculpting on the back of these guys. Not a fan of that. But still, they're Minicons, so it's like, why not? So again, he put his little horn on. These dudes go on his shoulders. And a lot of these pieces, if there's a left and right side, they are left and right pieces, so you can't really mess it up. Put his little chest piece on like this, so you can see him starting to look pretty cool. And these pieces are neat, but I don't like the fact that they have to be hidden in the back. But that's just the way that it goes, and I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, so here he is with all this stuff on him. Let's bring him a little closer, and he looks pretty good. Okay, again, you can't really do anything. You can kind of move him a little bit, squish him in, but that's about it. Now, if we turn him into his alt mode, you cannot push him together with him holding the swords. So you have to take the swords out, and these just all clip together. And you can see he kind of looks like this little ship right now. Now these swords go back. Oops, lost my lighting. So these swords go back into his leg like this. And now he actually looks like a pretty decent little ship. Yeah, not too bad. Alright, so let's go ahead and move Airazor off to the side and let's take a look at Fracture. Now Fracture suffers from, this is definitely, by the way, this is a deluxe class figure. Definitely, there's no way he's more than that. There's no way in my mind at all that I would call him a Voyager. He does not have the movement or articulation. So, and you can see about the size. So if I bring our C over here, they're basically the same size. So definitely a deluxe. Now it is $19.99 for these two together. You get the Minicon and you get the deployer, which the deployers only work with their own faction. So these two guys back here make the same shape here as Airazor, and they can fit in him. But none of the Autobots can fit in him. They can only fit in Drift. So that's something they've done to differentiate the two factions. Alright, so let's take a look at him. He has moving shoulder pads. You can move them around. The head is stationary. It's just built in. He does have this little soft plastic. You can see this little mohawk type thing. He has some coloring. We see some light pink, or very, very light purple, depending on what you want to call it. Dark purple, again, as I mentioned before, he only has red for his eyes and right here. And mix in with a little gray. So his color scheme's not bad. He just could use a little more flare of red here and there. Arms, you can move anywhere you want. His shoulder moves up and down. His arms move in and out. But I gotta say that what really annoys me, and why I would never call this any more than a deluxe class, is they did not put any elbow articulation, not in him or in Drift, and that really upsets me because there's just no reason for that. In both of them, both of their modes, you could have had articulation right here and had a simple swivel or ball, even a ball joint. It really makes me mad. That's why I haven't wanted these series, because they don't give this series the time and the toys that I think they should. And you know what? I'm sorry. A kid would like to have a little articulation there as well. Okay, so that's enough for that. So anyway, there's no waist movement, but that's not surprising. Legs can move up and down. They can move out a little bit, but I think that's just more the plastic moving itself. You can move the leg up and down like this, so it has a knee joint, and the legs lock in place, so he stands pretty still. And then you can also move the foot a little bit. So he has somewhat articulation, but then again, for $19.99 for him and his little buddy, not a lot. Okay, so in this mode, you can flip, and you hold back here. You're going to push this, and you can see he's going to flip him off. So let's go ahead and push this down. And you stick him in there, and he stays fairly tight. Not the tightest. I'm always a little worried he's just going to fall out, but they never have. And right now, you could shoot him straight at the ground, but you would have to push this button in with your finger and push this button in at the same time. So when he's in the robot mode, like this, you just push down. Oops, sorry, I hit my hand there. There he goes. See him flying off to the side. So that is that mechanism. But I think what you're going to want to see more, and again, like I said, with these guys, put him together. Oop, part of his thing fell off, but that doesn't matter. I always find it easier, by the way, to push this in with my hand. There you go. You see, he can hold this guy as well. And he looks kind of goofy standing there like that. So let's shoot him back off to the side. Of course, this is made for kids. My hand's a little bigger. Woo! Bullseye. Okay, so let's do the transformation. Transformation, this guy is pretty easy. Not shockingly, his legs go straight together, and this piece goes back. So you can hear that snaps pretty good. Now, what you're going to want to make sure you do is you have a little roller here, and you have a little roller here. Those, you need to move this down, and you see this little jutting piece of plastic? It's going to fit right in there. And when that does, you need to maneuver it around so it sits like this. You can see he rolls like this. You have a wheel here, here, and here, and the whole thing should be flush to the ground. If it's not flush to the ground, you cannot get the hands to go in these little ports right here that looks just like a hand. All right, so push the hands in, they stay pretty good. Oops, lost my lighting. Same with the other side, push this other hand in. All right, you're gonna take this whole piece off its chest, just pull this up, and then again, there's a tab right here and a little spot there. So that goes in there. It doesn't fit all that tight because these are two pieces of plastic coming together to make the port. So it's not, you know, like it's not molded. It's actually, you bring two pieces together, and you can see he's got the handlebars here for the motorcycle or futuristic motorcycle. And the last thing then you do is go ahead and cover his face. Bring these over and cover his face like that. And there you go. Now you have Fracture in his mode. And what I do like about this is now when you push this in, let's go ahead and stick this guy inside. There you go. Then, yeah. So you stick that in there. It really looks like a, you know, kind of a futuristic motorcycle with its sidecar. Now I do notice that this guy, this little wing right here is touching this. I don't think that's a problem, but you do see how it looks, and it looks pretty good. Now I like firing it better here because you just push down on this and it will shoot out, and it shoots out pretty good. You know, it's got some pretty decent velocity. There you go. You can see that before. So let me show you here with this other one. We haven't transformed him yet, but the same thing with this guy. Got to get his guns out. We'll just take off all this stuff. Again, the transformation of these guys are pathetically simple. This guy actually has feet that move, but again, he has that same shape, kind of the, I don't know, evil dagger-looking shape. And this guy looks really nice with him as well. You can see he's got a little more color with him, but he fits great. Shoot him off to the side. And lastly, let me show you this guy. And sorry, I'm really just having a little bit of fun shooting this. And there you go. So if you note, there are, like I mentioned, here's wave 1, these guys, the 2 Decepticons, oops, the 2 Decepticons and the 2 Autobots. And there's also a wave 2 coming out. You have Beatbox and some of the throwbacks to the other old Minicons. So that's pretty cool, and I'm a big fan of those. So let me show you one last time how you transform him back to the robot mode, and let's see if this is an issue. So we pull this out. This arm has stuck in the past, but it seems to be fine this time. And then you can just kind of move him around. There's not a lot to talk about because the transformation is so simple. That's it. There you go. It's not supposed to be complex. None of these guys' transformations are supposed to be complex at all. So he does have these gigantic feet because you have to plant pretty well when you're going to hold all this extra weight. And I don't know if you can see here. It doesn't look like it, but he's definitely leaning a little bit to that side. And if he did not have these feet, he would be falling over. Anyway, that is Fracture and Airazor. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any questions about him at all, anything like that, shoot me an email. The special guy that you can make, this one right here, he is from the Wave 1 set of 4 figures that are sold separately. These guys back here, you do not need to buy this guy, the Deluxe Deployer or Drift Deployer. You just have to buy all 4 of the other ones to make the extra tiger or lion or whatever this dude is. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe to this station. Thanks a lot.